Phil Orlando is with us for the hour, and Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Napolitano joins us now. Let's talk more about this broadband and media, all the deals happening here. Some legal scholars are worrying that all of this M&A activity in this sector poses antitrust issues. Heard that one before? Well, Judge, will these M&A deals, would they create monopolies that are of great concern?
Well, it's not only legal scholars who worry about it. It's the AT&T and DIRECTV and Comcast and Time Warner lawyers who will worry about it. So a little bit of history. Time Warner and Comcast announced a while ago their merger. The Justice Department says, not so fast, we've got to look at it. I'll tell you what they're looking for in a minute. Then on the heels of this, we see news reports that AT&T and DIRECTV are going to merge. That's the last thing the Justice Department wants. And when AT&T's executives say to AT&T's lawyers, can you do this? They may say yes, but not now. Okay, so why not now? Because the Justice Department is obliged to enforce federal law, and one of the federal laws it has to enforce is called the Clayton Act. And the Clayton Act basically says, I'm dumbing this down, that an activity such as a merger or an acquisition which reduces competition or reduces choices for consumers or increase costs for consumers ought not to be approved by the Justice Department. So when similar companies that have often competed in the past, Comcast and Time Warner, decide they want to get together, there ordinarily is a reduction in competition. So that's a concern to the Justice Department. Now you have similar competitors in AT&T and DIRECTV wanting to merge. So that's another headache for the Justice Department. We don't know what the Justice Department will do, but it has the ability to say to a federal judge, do not let this happen, because in our view, it's going to reduce competition and increase costs. I'm almost wondering the timing of it, you're saying is bad because the Time Warner Comcast deal sitting on the table. I'm almost wondering who it's worse for. You know, is it worse for AT&T and DIRECTV, or is it actually worse for Time Warner? It's hard to say who it's worse for, but it is the very same human beings reviewing both deals. It is. So you have just added to their headaches, you've added to their metrics, you've given them a lot more materials with which to work. Here's the killer. Here's the killer for Comcast, the Comcast deal. That was probably going to be approved. Until this AT&T DIRECTV thing came along, the Justice Department now has to review Comcast Time Warner from moment one, factoring into it, would we approve this knowing that the AT&T DIRECTV merger is right behind it? Because you don't want, or the federal law doesn't want. I disagree with federal law on the basis of Economics 101. Put aside my views. Federal law does not want too big a market share in the hands of one entity. Federal law mandates smaller companies, more competition, lower prices. But I'm going to ask you as a judge, should the proposed AT&T DIRECTV deal, should it change the decisions that are made when looking at the Time Warner Comcast deal? You're saying that Time Warner Comcast was about to be approved. It absolutely will. It absolutely will. If AT&T had waited 6 months, their friends at Time Warner will be very happy. But now, because AT&T is striking while the iron's hot, 6 months from now, DIRECTV may not want the deal. So you can't blame AT&T in that respect. But because this came out now, I guarantee you, I know these folks in the Justice Department, they're starting from day one to re-examine Comcast Time Warner.
Looking at a template, another industry, the airline industry, we just had the American Airlines, U.S. Airlines merger approved. And that went through a lot of histrionics in order to get that far. Now, I guess what they came down to is that 4 legacy carriers was going to reduce competition to some degree, but there was some trade-offs, some quid pro quos made in order to get that approved. Yes. Do we have some horse trading that can go on in order to get these done? Absolutely, and that's exactly what the AT&T DIRECTV on one part of this and the Comcast Time Warner lawyers will be doing. They will be hiring experts, usually economists, to demonstrate to the Justice Department, here's the good that's going to happen. Here are the services that we can now offer, which we couldn't offer before, and there is the competition for those services. So we're not becoming a monopoly.
That is the Justice Department's greatest fear, that somebody becomes so big, has such a share of the market that they can monopolize it, that they can choose with whom to do business and they can dictate prices, because that's the absolute bane of the Justice Department, and all of their goals are to prevent monopolies.
So we've got to leave it there, Judge, but quickly, your forecast, do both or either of these deals go through?
Yes. Both go through.
The
Justice Department will tinker with them, but they'll accept the tinkering. They'll both go through. Just my guess.
All right. Phil Orlando, you stick with me. Judge Napolitano, thank you so much
Pleasure,
for joining
Sandra.
us on set.